How do you cut through all the noise, all the information overload we face every day to actually get properly informed without, just drowning?
Yeah, it's a real challenge, isn't it? Just the sheer amount of stuff out there. It makes getting like deep, useful knowledge feel almost impossible sometimes.
You want the good stuff, the insights you can use, not just
Yeah,
more scrolling.
exactly.
And that, right there, that's what the deep dive is all about. Think of us as your ultimate shortcut. We take the sources, articles, books, notes, whatever you've got.
And what we've researched for you.
Right. And we pull out the really important bits, the key insights, maybe some surprising facts, add a little humor, basically make it useful and engaging. This deep dive is made just for you.
And today we're diving into something fascinating. The surprisingly practical world of Stoicism. Our main guide here is Donald Robertson's book, Stoicism and the Art of Happiness, Practical Wisdom for Everyday Life.
And Robertson, well, he's interesting. He's a cognitive behavioral psychotherapist, right?
Yeah, and he specifically looks at the connection between ancient philosophy, especially Stoicism, and modern therapies like CBT.
So he's the perfect guy to bridge that gap for us.
Absolutely. And what jumps out, like right away in his book, is this amazing linguistic point.
Oh, yeah.
The everyday word stoic, small s, and the word philosophical, he says they're virtually identical in meaning.
Huh. Both meaning calm when things get tough.
Exactly, calmness in adversity, which, suggests Stoicism isn't just theory.
Right. It immediately tells you this is about how you live. It's a philosophy as a way of life, not just dusty books. That kind of changes things, doesn't it?
It totally does. And that practical side leads us straight into a core Stoic idea, maybe even a paradox.
Right.
How the ideal Stoic, the sage, can love people deeply, but also not be totally thrown off balance by loss, which is inevitable, right?
Yeah, that sounds trippy. Love deeply, but stay undisturbed.
Well, they feel natural emotions, of course they do. But the key is they're not overwhelmed by them. They're always guided by reason.
Okay, so how do they manage that? That's what we're digging into.
Precisely. And that brings us to the why. Why look at Stoicism now? Why this ancient stuff for, our crazy modern world?
Well, Robertson argues, pretty convincingly, I think, that ancient Stoicism was basically the granddaddy of all self-help.
Right. It offered this rich armamentarium, his words of strategies, techniques, all for building psychological resilience.
By changing our feelings rationally, naturally.
And this is where it gets really interesting for today. The link between Stoicism and modern cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
And RABT too, right? Rational emotive behavior therapy.
Yeah, it's precursor. The founders, Albert Ellis and Aaron T. Beck, they both explicitly said Stoicism was their main philosophical inspiration.
Wow. Think about that. Beck actually wrote, didn't he? Something like, the philosophical origins of cognitive therapy can be traced back to the Stoic philosophers.
It did. And given how huge CBT is today, what was it about Stoicism that grabbed them? Was it just that idea that thoughts affect feelings?
Or something more fundamental?
Well, that core idea, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. That's definitely central, hugely important.
Yeah, that's Epictetus, right?
Right. But it's also because CBT, as Robertson points out, happens to have the strongest scientific support of any modern form of psychological therapy.
So this isn't just history. It means these ancient ideas have scientifically validated tools we can use now.
Exactly. And it wasn't us just mapping it on later. The Stoics themselves saw their practices as therapeutic.
They actually use the word therapy.
Yeah, therapia. They called it a moral and psychological therapy. It was built right in, a system for well-being. And Seneca had this great metaphor to illustrate this resilience building, the metaphor of the tree.
Oh, I like this one. No tree becomes rooted and sturdy unless many a wind assails it.
Right. It's the wind, the shaking, that forces the tree to grip harder, root deeper. Trees grown in sheltered spots are fragile.
So good people, Seneca argued, are shaken in order that they may grow strong. Living amidst alarms helps them become unafraid.
It's such a powerful image of strength coming through difficulty, not despite it, something we all kind of face, right?
Definitely. And you can see why people are drawn to Stoicism today.
Yeah.
Seeking that peace of mind, that sense of purpose.
Especially when life feels unsatisfying, or you just need some, emotional healing, which, let's face it, is probably most of us at some point.
And we see it in action. Like Jules Evans' book, Philosophy for Life.
Yeah, great book, full of concrete examples of people using ancient philosophy now, specifically for emotional resilience, well-being.
It shows it works in the real world.
Yeah.
And then there's a military connection, which is fascinating.
Right. Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Jarrett, a former Green Beret, he taught a Stoic CBT resilience program to thousands in the U.S. Army.
And the data suggested it helped.
Yeah, the data from about 900 people suggested positive results, helping them during deployment and when they came back. And Nancy Sherman wrote Stoker Warriors, exploring that whole connection.
So, okay, we get the why, the relevance, but what do they actually believe? The core stuff.
Well, traditionally, Stoic philosophy was split into three areas: ethics, physics, and logic.
And those aren't perfect translations, maybe, but they're the terms usually used.
Right. And for this deep dive, we're mainly sticking to the ethics side, although the others definitely feed into it.
Okay, so the big goal. What was the ultimate aim?
Happiness, or eudaimonia. Zeno, the founder, had this beautiful definition.
What was it?
Happiness is a smoothly flowing life, euroia biou, a life where your mind just adapts to whatever happens.
A smoothly flowing life, not necessarily always happy, clappy, but adaptable, calm inside,
Yeah.
whatever the weather outside.
Exactly. That's the promise. Pretty appealing, right?
Very. So how do you get that smooth flow?
The key phrase is living in agreement with nature.
Okay, but what does nature mean here? Like trees and birds?
Huh. Well, partly, but it's deeper. It works on two levels. First, living according to our own human nature.
Meaning?
Meaning being rational, social creatures, excelling in wisdom, justice, self-control, the virtues, fulfilling our potential as humans.
Okay, being the best human you can be. And the second level.
The second is accepting our place in the bigger picture, in universal nature. Welcoming our fate, basically, the stuff we can't control.
So act virtuously based on your human nature and accept the broader context of the universe and what you can't change. Like paddling your canoe well, but accepting the river's current.
That's a great way to put it. Exactly.
And central to this, absolutely crucial, is virtue, arte.
Yes. And Robertson suggests translating it as excellence might be better than just moral goodness.
So that's part of it.
Right. Because for Stoics, this practical wisdom, this virtue or excellence, is the only truly unconditional good. It's the key to eudaimonia.
Now, okay, that's radical. It means being a good person is all it takes to have a good life, to be happy, fulfilled, no matter what happens externally.
Pretty much, yeah. Your well-being isn't actually dependent on outside stuff.
Like the contrast they drew between the super-rich Persian king and Diogenes the cynic living in poverty.
Right. The Stoics would say Diogenes' life, lived virtuously, was truly excellent, or at least no worse, regardless of his lack of stuff.
Okay, but that begs the question. If virtue is the only good, what about things like health or wealth, reputation? Surely they matter.
Ah, good question. They called these indifferent things to adiaphora.
Indifferent, meaning they don't matter at all.
Not quite. They count for nothing towards ultimate fulfillment, towards eudaimonia. But some are naturally preferred.
Like health is generally preferred over sickness.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Exactly. But their real value, the Stoics argued, depends on how you use them, not on the things themselves. Epictetus warned against calling them good or bad.
Like money isn't good or bad, it depends what you do with it. Use it well or use it badly.
Precisely. The value is in the virtuous use.
Okay, and we really need to clear this up. Stoics aren't emotionless robots, right? That's a common image, the stiff upper lip taken to extremes.
Yeah, that's a huge misconception. Absolutely not. The ideal isn't being passionless like a statue or hard-hearted.
So what's the deal with emotions then?
They actually cultivated natural affection for themselves, family, friends, all of humanity. They saw it as an essential part of happiness.
So the sage isn't about eliminating emotion.
No, it's about conquering irrational, excessive passions by becoming stronger, by changing your judgments about things, not by shutting down feelings.
How do they make that distinction between okay feelings and problematic ones?
That distinguish between proto-passions and passions.
Proto-passions, like
Yeah.
precursors.
Sure, kind of. Think of involuntary reflex reactions, blushing, jumping at a loud noise, maybe feeling a pang of fear initially. Those are seen as natural, beyond our immediate control.
Okay, like the body's first reaction.
Right. But then there are passions. These are the
Yeah.
excessive, irrational emotions based on faulty judgments, like letting that initial pang of fear turn into overwhelming panic because you judge the situation to be truly terrible when maybe it isn't.
So it's about the judgment you attach to the initial feeling.
Exactly. The Stoics worked on overcoming those unhealthy passions by correcting the underlying judgments. There's a story about a Stoic philosopher on a ship in a storm.
Yeah.
He turned pale, a proto-passion, an involuntary physical reaction. But he didn't panic. He withheld assent from the impression that the storm was truly a catastrophe he couldn't handle. He controlled his judgment, even if his body reacted instinctively.
Okay, that makes sense. The reaction versus the considered response. Yeah. So we've got the framework. How do we actually do Stoicism, put it into practice?
Right. Robertson lays it out using 3 practical disciplines that link back to those theory areas: judgment, action, and desire.
Let's start with desire. The discipline of desire and aversion connected to physics, right?
Correct. And the core goal here is pretty simple, but hard. Desire only what's truly up to us.
Our judgments, our choices, our actions.
Exactly. And let go of irrational cravings for external things we can't fully control. Seneca put it really strongly.
What did he say?
The promise of philosophy is to trample with great courage on what all men desire and fear. Things like wealth, death.
Wow. Trample on them. So does that mean living like a total hermit?
Not necessarily. Zeno started out following the Cynics, who were pretty extreme.
Living in barrels and all that.
Right. But Stoicism found more of a middle ground. They definitely practiced self-control, though. Seneca suggested things like, sleeping on a rough mattress occasionally, eating basic food for a few days.
Just to toughen up, remind yourself you can handle discomfort.
Yeah, basically. For you, listening now, it might mean things like sticking to an exercise routine, eating healthy when it's tempting not to, maybe going camping.
Pushing your comfort zone deliberately.
Right. The goal is building that self-discipline, those virtues or character strength, inner fortitude.
And connected to this discipline of desire, there's that concept I find really powerful. Amor fati, love of fate.
Yes. A term Pierre Hadot borrowed from Nietzsche, but it captures the Stoic idea beautifully.
It's more than just acceptance, isn't it? It's like a willing, almost joyful embrace of whatever happens.
Exactly. Becoming a citizen of the cosmos, not fighting against how things are. It's a huge mental shift.
Profound.
And it ties into how Stoicism was very much a here and now philosophy, like modern mindfulness.
Marcus Aurelius was big on that, right? Focus on the present moment.
Constantly. The past is gone. The future isn't here yet. They're indifferent because you can't control them now. Focusing on the present, it makes tough times more bearable.
And it makes you more aware of your own actions, virtuous or not, right now.
Absolutely. And Seneca pointed out most of our suffering comes from stewing about the past or worrying about the future. The Stoics were way ahead on that.
Okay, so that's handling desire.
Yeah.
But often the real battle is internal, with our thoughts. Which brings us to the discipline of judgment, linked to logic.
Yes. And the goal here is avoiding rashness. Don't just blindly accept your first impression, fantasia of things. Remember Epictetus?
Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them.
Exactly. That's the core.
And this links directly to modern therapy again, doesn't it?
Hugely. Aaron Beck called it distancing or cognitive distance.
The ability to see thoughts just as thoughts. Hypotheses, not facts.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The difference between this is awful and, okay, I'm having the thought, this is awful.
That little gap makes all the difference. Like watching thoughts float by like leaves on a stream.
Yeah, that's a common mindfulness image. Very similar idea. It gives you space to choose your response.
So what was Epictetus's practical advice here?
Very direct. When a harsh appearance, a difficult thought or situation pops up, first, tell yourself, you are merely an appearance and in no way the thing appearing.
Step back from it immediately.
Right. Then ask, is this about something up to me or not up to me?
My choices versus external events.
Exactly. And if it concerns something not up to you, have the answer ready. It is nothing to me.
A quick mental filter. Does this actually deserve my emotional energy right now?
Pretty much. They also used a technique of postponement, like a timeout.
Pausing before reacting.
Yeah. Apparently the Pythagoreans did it too, to avoid telling someone off when angry. CBT uses it for anxiety. Just gain some time, some respite when strong emotions hit.
Don't get swept away. Let the feelings subside a bit, get that cognitive distance. Makes sense.
Okay, so we've got desire, judgment. Now, how does this guide what we actually do? The discipline of action linked to ethics.
And one fascinating idea here is acting with a reserve clause.
Yes, adding a little mental footnote to every plan, like fate permitting or if nothing prevents me.
So you commit to the action, you do your best, but you hold the outcome lightly.
Exactly. A detached attitude towards the outcome, ready to accept success or failure with total equanimity.
And this is where someone like Vice Admiral James Stockdale comes in, right? The Vietnam POW.
A truly incredible example. He explicitly used Epictetus and these ideas, like the reserve clause, to endure years of torture and captivity.
He knew the outcome wasn't up to him, but his inner response, his will, was.
That's the core of it. But Stoic action isn't just about individual resilience. It's also fundamentally social.
Acting in the service of mankind.
Right. Zeno's republic, his ideal society, was this vision of a Stoic utopia, all citizens equal, living virtuously together.
And Marcus Aurelius was always reminding himself, act for the common welfare.
Yeah. And there's this interesting twist. Intending to help others benefits you directly, because acting justly or kindly is virtue, and virtue is flourishing, eudaimonia.
So helping others isn't separate from your own well-being. Altruism and self-interest align.
In that Stoic sense, yes. Acting virtuously is acting in your own truest interest.
Okay, another big tool in this action discipline, premeditatio malorum. Premeditating adversity.
Yeah, it sounds a bit grim, but it's incredibly practical. It means actively thinking about potential future problems.
Why? To make yourself miserable.
Huh? No, the opposite. It's to remove the shock and surprise when setbacks do happen. If you've thought about it, you're less likely to be thrown off balance.
Like a mental fire drill for life's problems.
Exactly. Bertrand Russell, much later, suggested something similar. Seriously consider the worst that can happen? Look it square in the face. Then reason why, even if it happened, it wouldn't be the absolute end of the world.
It builds that emotional resilience, that invulnerability to fortune, like winter training for the mind.
Right, preparing for rough weather. And it's not just about bracing for impact.
What else?
It's also about thinking through how you would cope, how you could act virtuously with wisdom, courage, self-control if that bad thing happened.
So not just what's the worst, but how would I handle the worst virtuously? Asking, what strengths do I have for this?
Precisely, rehearsing your best response, not just the problem.
Okay, that covers the three disciplines.
Yeah.
But there's another angle, right? The cosmic perspective, using physics, natural philosophy, as a kind of meditation.
Yeah, this is fascinating. They studied physics, how the universe works, mainly to help with ethics, to change their whole perspective on life. The goal was to relocate human existence within the infinity of time and space, within the big laws of nature, to get perspective.
This is the view from above.
Exactly. That exercise where you imagine leaving your body, floating up, seeing your city, your country, the whole Earth from space.
Like in Cicero's Dream of Scipio, seeing Earth as just a tiny dot.
Right. And realizing that fame, reputation, all that stuff, it's so small and fleeting from that cosmic viewpoint. The lips of mankind can grant you no fame or glory worth seeking.
Wow. That really puts everyday worries in their place. It helps overcome those fears and desires for stuff that's ultimately insignificant.
Pretty much. It's like getting a glimpse from Zeus's perspective, seeing the bigger picture.
They also had that metaphor of life as a festival.
Yeah, Pythagoras apparently said philosophers are like spectators at the great festival of the cosmos. Epictetus taught his students to see life itself as a festival, a gift on loan from nature.
An opportunity to observe, appreciate, learn before you have to leave.
Exactly. It encourages detachment from the day-to-day turmoil and fosters gratitude for just being here now.
And their view of time was pretty wild too, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. This idea that one day is like every day. That if you've seen the present, you've seen everything that ever was or ever will be, because it's all basically the same patterns repeating.
Homogeneous, identical in form. That leads to that mind-bending idea of eternal recurrence, doesn't it?
It does. The Stoic theory that the universe endlessly repeats itself exactly the same way, cycle after cycle.
Which Nietzsche later picked up for his concept of amor fati. If this moment will repeat infinitely, how does that change how you live it now?
Makes you think, doesn't it? Makes every moment both eternal and fleeting.
Okay, so we've looked at desire, judgment, action, the cosmic view, which leads us, I guess, to the ultimate test, the Stoic approach to death.
Right. The meditation on death. Robertson calls it the culmination of all these exercises.
Seneca had that powerful line, the man who has learned to die has unlearned how to be a slave.
He is above all power, or at least beyond its reach. Because if you don't fear death, what ultimate leverage does anyone have over you?
So how do they view death itself?
As indifferent, not good, not bad. Just a natural, inevitable part of the cosmic process, a dispersal of atoms. Nothing to fear, like some catastrophe.
Marcus Aurelius said to wait for it with good grace. Just Acceptance.
Total acceptance of nature's cycle, and Socrates was their prime example of a good death.
Facing execution calmly, lecturing the jury instead of begging.
Exactly. Total serenity, fortitude, famously saying, Aenina Similatus can kill me, but they cannot harm me.
Meaning they can harm his body, but not his soul, his virtue, his inner self.
Precisely. It illustrates that core idea. We can't really be free, truly alive, if we're enslaved by fear, especially the ultimate fear of death.
So why practice thinking about it? Seems morbid.
It's not about being morbid, it's practical training for living well now. The Stoics recommended picturing your own death regularly, maybe even daily.
Daily.
Yeah, because facing that ultimate limit fundamentally changes how you act today. It makes you value the present, focus on what truly matters, virtue, and makes you, in their view, invulnerable to threats, to fortune's whims. It strips away the biggest fear.
Leave you free.
Exactly, truly free.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this all up then, this deep dive really shows Stoicism isn't just some dusty old philosophy. It's incredibly relevant.
Absolutely. Packed with practical tools for resilience, for well-being, for getting that smoothly flowing life Zeno talked about. It's knowledge you can actually apply.
And the core power seems to be that focus on what is up to us, our judgments, our intentions, our character.
Right. That's the sphere of our control.
Yeah.
Focusing there helps you navigate everything else, the external stuff, with wisdom, justice, courage, self-discipline. It's an internal toolkit.
Gives you that inner strength no matter what's happening outside.
It really does. A framework for resilience.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about as you go about your day-to-day. What if you took one minor setback, one little frustration, and instead of just reacting, you try to reframe it? See it as a chance to practice one of these virtues we talked about, maybe patience or courage or just simple self-discipline.
Just see how that little shift changes your perspective on it.
Exactly. Just think about it. See what happens.